Hey guys, it's Sam Stein, managing editor at the Bulwark. I'm joined by Tim Miller. We are here to discuss
these fucking assholes is what we're here to discuss. These fucking assholes.
I was going to be a little bit more diplomatic, but sure. I think that's objectively true. We have two tweets that we're going to be talking about, one from Andy Ogles and one from Nancy Mace, both of which suggest, if not directly call for, the deportation of, you got it, Zohran Mamdani. Who knew that they would move this fast to something so predictable? But they think that the Democratic Socialist, now mayoral candidate from New York, who was not born in this country, he's an immigrant, but came to this country, should be deported, even though he's a citizen of this country.
Fuck these people. Fuck you, Nancy Mace. Fuck you, Andy Ogles. You know what you're doing. This is real. It's a troll, but it's real and it's damaging. And all these people that tried to get high-minded about how Zohran's rhetoric was too extreme, and everybody knows my opinion on that. And then on their side, there's no accountability. There's no anything. It's just they can be as racist and as nasty and as disgusting and despicable as they want, and no one on the MAGA side is going to blink at all. And they should be ashamed of themselves. And I knew we also was coming, as you mentioned, Sam. But last night on the next level,
so predictable. It was so fucking predictable.
But last night on the next level, I said this because the first group to do this was the New York Young Republicans. It's the most MAGA of the Young Republican outfits. And these guys had hosted Trump before. They are one of their former chairman is now high-ranking official in the Trump administration, has a job he's totally unqualified for. And I was like, look, if these guys are jumping on this now, it should not be dismissed. It's just like, oh, these are just some trolly young Republicans. It's like, this is where these folks are going to go. And time and again, their trolls have turned into reality. Like the Muslim ban was a troll at the start. And then it became the policy of the government, right? Like how many times?
The Muslim ban, just for the history of it, the Muslim ban was introduced after the horrific attacks in California, and it was a press release. It was just a press release designed to get media attention, then turned into policy.
Yeah, then it became the government's policy. So I don't, they jailed Mahmoud Khalil for nothing, for an op-ed. And so I'm not really suggesting I think they're actually going to denaturalize Zohran, but you can't come and tell me that this is fake or is a threat, or Tim, you gotta, you just gotta, lighten up for the LOLs. Nothing matters. It's like, no, they're doing this. They are jailing people in this country for their speech, and they're jailing Muslim people, let's be honest, directly for their speech related to Israel, Palestine. And so now when you have prominent elected officials, the advocacy group that's probably the closest to the president, as far as young Republicans are concerned, calling for this, it's like it should be taken seriously and should be denounced, and these people should fucking be ashamed.
Right. Look, here, think about it this way. Let's say it is a joke.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes it any less worse. Because if it is a joke, what it's saying is that Nancy Mace and Andy Ogles and young Republicans think that their people will get a real rise, a real laugh and hoot, if not become galvanized by overt racism and statism and this type of honestly horrific anti-Muslimism. And it's just like a really nasty view of their own people. So that's a bad joke, but it also doesn't make it funny or anything. It just makes it disturbing.
And I also got to say, so this is where you get to the political, and we have a discussion on the chain about how this is strategic.
Reverse polarization.
Yeah, this is strategic, right? Like they want what we're doing right now. They want people to defend Zohran because the Republicans are going to want to try to make Zohran the face of the party, and they think he's not palatable. And I'm like, whatever. I don't think Andy Ogles, who's a fucking moron from Tennessee, is actually thinking that deeply. I think that he's just a racist piece of shit. And that wants attention for himself. But let me tell you this. I actually also reject this notion of don't fall for their distractions, because Trump is a walking distraction. Trump appealed to people. There was a group of Trump supporters who came to him because he engaged in all these cultural issues, and they thought he was funny, and they thought they connected with it. And I'm telling you that the reverse can be made true if you make an argument about this. I was just watching Theo Von the other day, and you can kind of see it already in him, where he was starting to talk about how he's feeling used by MAGA, and he feels like he's just this pawn in this political game. And he thought that these guys were coming after the deep state, but it turns out they're not. And he thought that they were anti-war, and it turns out they're not. You can see it already happening in real time. And I'm telling you, like, some people watching this might think that all those bro guys are all racist. They're not. Like, Theo Von does not want to live in a country where the people in charge are deporting people just because they have bad political views. Like, it isn't. There are a handful of people out there that are free, and we should engage on this. It should get attention because it might actually boomerang off against them. And even if it doesn't, fuck it. Still, anyway.
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know that's where we were going to go. But a couple reasons why I think you should engage this stuff, even if it's designed to get people to defend Mamdani. Which, whatever, defend them. One is, I think if you don't engage this stuff, it gives the worst actors in politics more runway to do worse things. And it allows them to take what are trolling exercises or whatever you want to call this and turn them into policy, because they're not going to get pushback. In fact, they're just going to get attaboys from their people. The second thing is because this is not a one-off. I mean, what's happening across the country is such an egregious deportation regime that it's almost impossible to comprehend the scope of it and keep track of it. So I'll end after this, but the other day, as you were aware, we decided to put together a list of some of the more horrific stories that were happening across the country. We put together what I thought was a fairly comprehensive list. It's like, 10 really gruesome stories across the country. Today, just perusing social media, someone passed me a story from Texas. It's from the Austin Chronicle. And I read it and I was shocked. The lead is this. 10 years ago, Jermaine Thomas was at the center of a case brought before the U.S. Supreme Court. Should a baby born to a U.S. father deployed to a U.S. Army base in Germany have U.S. citizenship? Last week, Thomas was escorted on a plane with his wrists and ankles shackled. He says he arrived in Jamaica, a country he'd never been to, a stateless man. Quote, "I'm looking out the window on the plane," Thomas told the Chronicle, "and I'm hoping the plane crashes and I die." That was shocking. But what shocked me more was this. The date of the article, June 4th, 2025. It's June 26th. How did I not see this article for 22 days? And the reason I didn't see this article for 22 days is because this shit's happening everywhere. Everywhere. And so if you don't stand up to it at any particular moment when it's in front of your face, it will just keep happening.
The Zohran example is a way to bring attention to this, where this should break through outside of just the Bulwark bubble, I would think, because it's like, guys, maybe Zohran won't actually be deported back to Uganda, because they decide it's too big of a political risk. But they're deporting Zohran type people back to home countries.
You shouldn't have to be an elected
countries.
Official on the precipice of the New York mayoralty to have protection from this shit.
I agree. I've got nothing to add to that.
Just ending on the facts so that people understand. Zohran Mamdani was born in Uganda in 1991. He moved to New York with his family
born
at
in
the age of
1991, and he's going to be the mayor. Oh no, that's a tough.
Putting that aside,
swallow.
He moved to America at the age of 7 in 98. He became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2018. So he has been here. I mean,
20
this is crazy. What are we doing here? All right, Tim, thanks, man. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you appreciate this. Subscribe to the feed, and we'll talk to you later.
That was terrible math. 26 years. See you later. Bye. Subscribe to the feed. I was a liberal arts major.